All right, in today's video, we are going over the next crossover coming to Grand Summoners. And I'm sure you already know, it's a certain magical index. So we're getting 4 new units, and for part 1, we're going to get Railgun and Toma Kamijou, I think his name is. Yeah. And it's going to come on the 16th, so pretty soon, right after Don is over, we are going to get this probably either... I think the day after, or maybe there's a day in between them. But either way, let's go over their kits real quick. Because initially, I have videos going over all 4 of their kits, and I was thinking they are going to be bad. But upon further review, I've taken a gander at all of their kits again. And they might have a place in the meta. They might be kind of good. So, without further ado, the first unit we are going to be going over is Railgun, aka Misaka Makoto. So, she has 2 5-star magic slots. That's really good for her and specifically. And then she has a 4-star heal or a 4-star support at LB7. I wouldn't LB7 her, it's not worth it. So we are only going to go over the notable parts of their equips. So for her true art has a 50% stats up for light allies and crit res down. That's pretty solid. Her super art is going to have a 200,000% multiplier and 150% light res down. And each time you use her super art, it's going to refresh her magic equips as long as the remaining equip CT is more than 50%. So the way I think this works is if it's already halfway refreshed and you use her super art, it'll just instantly refresh it. So you're going to be able to spam her magic equips, and we're going to get into her true weapon because it's insane how busted this can get. True weapon. For 60 seconds, reduce enemies' magic res by 20%, stackable. But the passive, if it's equipped by Misaka Makoto, it's going to double the magic res. So it's 40%, stackable, okay? So this is a must-need if you're going to do this. I suggest doing 2 of them, okay? 2 of them. She has 2 5-star magic slots. You put on 2 of her true weapons, you can get an insane amount of magic res down. Especially with a unit like SGL, or later in the crossover, Index, or literally anybody with equipped CT. This is going to make her insane. She's going to get so much magic res down. And I've seen clips on JP. Her super art hits. It hits so hard. It does so much damage. I cannot wait. I'm really hoping to get Misaka because I do not have a light DPS, and she can be so good for me. And then her passive, she also has a passive 3 arts a second. Kind of crazy. She has the damage ratio passive, 1%. And she gives the whole team paralysis res, just for free. It's pretty nice. So that's Railgun. Really hoping to pick her up. She's probably my number 1 pickup for the crossover that I need specifically. But for other people, I would say the best is probably going to be Accelerator. Second best, Toma. Third, Misaka. And the worst is Index. But we're going to get into Toma real quick. Toma is a water human. Kind of similar to Shiro. Not really, but he is a tank. He is a taunt tank. And he's going to be kind of busted. Let me tell you why. So in the current game, with Grand Crusade equips, you can make equips that have Truth of Eternity passively. And Truth of Eternity, if you don't know, is a crest that gives 20% DR when you're below 50% HP. So if you equip this on taunt tanks, it can make them insanely unkillable. I have a whole video going over it. It's going to be, or it is busted. But if you can do it on Toma, Toma might be the best in the game for it. Let me tell you why. His skill. The first time you use it, every wave, it's going to give him 100 arts. It's like Hajime's skill. And then every time after that, it's going to give you 30. So the first wave, 100 arts. If you use it again in the first wave, 30 arts. But then when you get to the second wave, the first time you use it, 100 arts. And this is really good because his shield is actually on his art. So it's instant. As soon as you use his skill, you use his art, the shield is up, everybody's safe. His art also has 20 arts gauge to the whole team. And for 30 seconds, it has a 25,000 damage negation barrier and 35% magic res. Kind of crazy. It's also going to add a 10k multiplier to his super art each time you use it, and this doesn't reset. It just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking. And then his super art has a 150,000% multiplier. It's going to increase his own arts by 100 and reduce enemies' damage res by 100. So if you can get this up to a 300,000% multiplier, this could definitely be hitting crazy, especially because it refreshes 100 arts. And then passives, he has passive flinch res, which is crazy. He has the Gamagori and Gerald passive, where if he ever like dies, he just won't. And for 5 seconds, he is literally unkillable to anything in the game. So, kind of busted. He's also going to increase his own arts by 100. Gamagori and Gerald do not have that, but that's going to be even better because then you can just use his art right away if he ever dies. So, he is going to be kind of insane. And if you're going to do the Truth of Eternity thing on him, I would suggest not doing 3 equips, but only doing 2. Because his true weapon is actually going to be even better. This is by far best in slot. Like, this is a crazy true weapon. Just because passively, it's going to give him 30% DR and 1 art a second. That's kind of crazy considering he's a taunt tank. Getting a passive 30% DR from an equip. It's a little silly. But definitely going to be a must get if you get Toma. You have to get his true weapon. So, Toma is actually going to be a really busted taunt tank. And if you don't have a taunt tank, Toma is a great pickup. Next up is going to be Accelerator. So now these are the part 2 units. Accelerator is kind of a combination of Chloe and Pencilgon. And I think he's going to be a little bit better than both of them. So currently, I think Accelerator will be the best breaker in the game until Platina comes out. And then Platina will be the best breaker in the game. But he might be the best for a little bit. And go over his kit. His true art has 50% break res, and it's type F, 5 arts a second. Pretty solid. Pencilgon is also type F, so, you know, kind of similar there. And then super art, 150,000% multiplier. If used when boss is not broken, increase own break power by 300% based on his HP. The max is 300%. Pencilgon's got the same thing, kind of. Like, if you use Pencilgon's art and then her super art, it gives her a 300% break power up. I think it's 300. It might be 200. I think it's 300 there. So, pretty similar. And then, if you use his super art when the boss is broken, it's going to double the multiplier of his super art. So, it's going to do 300,000%, which is crazy. And then his passive, this is where I say he's kind of like Chloe. Instead of just straight 200, as soon as you break the boss, he's going to give everybody on the team 5 arts a second for 30 seconds and a 300% damage boost. That's crazy. 300% damage increase just upon breaking the boss. He's going to make the whole team do a little bit of break damage. Just a little bit. And then when he's not affected by a status ailment, 3 arts a second. And then his true weapon is going to give him a passive 50% break power increase, which again, really, really good true weapon. That's an amazing passive for a true weapon on a breaker. And it also has a 6k break value, so it is going to be doing a pretty big chunk of the break gauge. I do think Accelerator is going to be the best breaker in the game for a little bit. And then probably the worst unit in the crossover is going to be Index. She's not even bad. The other 3 are just actually pretty good. Like, Misaka is an insane monolight DPS. Toma is a really good taunt tank. Accelerator is going to be the best breaker in the game for a little bit. And then Index, she's kind of just like a flex unit on monolight. But she does work perfectly with Misaka, aka Railgun. So if you do get Railgun and you don't have a good monolight yet, Index can be a great pickup to use with Railgun. So Index, she's going to, with her skill, she's going to heal all allies HP by 3k. And increase her own arts by 4 a second for 7 seconds. Her art is actually really good. Increases all allies' arts by 30. And for 30 seconds, increase all allies' damage res by 30%. So, a little bit of DR, a little bit of arts. Pretty solid. And then, if we go to her super art, increase all allies' of magic equipped CT speed by 40%. And reduce enemies' magic res by 40 times number of alive allies' magic slots. So, if you pair that with Misaka, just those 2 alone, you're going to be getting 160,000, or my bad, 160% magic res down, and she's getting magic equip CT speed. And if you remember how Railgun works, that's going to make her equips refresh faster and faster and faster. And it's going to be insane. And then if we go to her passive, if she's not affected by a status ailment, she gives light allies 3 arts a second. So she is a little bit of an arch gener, especially for mono light. Kind of useful on mono light. I wouldn't say she really replaces anybody on mono light, but I do think she's going to be a really good flex unit for mono light magic. So definitely, if you pick her up, she's just pretty nice for mono light magic. And then her true weapon is going to give her 2 arts a second passively and increase her heal amount by 30%. So her skill is going to heal even better. And yeah, that's about it. That's all for the units. Overall, I've completely changed my mind on this crossover. Initially, I have a video saying, like, this is the worst crossover in GS. I've just changed my mind. You know, I think this is going to be a great crossover. I cannot wait for it. I really hope to get Railgun. I'm really hoping to get Toma because I want to do the GC thing with him, because that'll free up one of my fusion equip slots. And then I won't do it with Gamagori anymore. I'll do it with Toma, because in the mines, I've been using Gamagori, and he's just too slow to get to his true art. But with Toma, he can get it instantly, and then every wave, I can just do his skill, and he'll get 100 back, and I can keep spamming his art, and it'll just be even better. So hopefully I can pick up Railgun, Toma, Accelerator, and even Index. You know, just give me the whole crossover. That would be awesome. Index would be great for my monolight magic. I do really need Misaka because I do not have a light DPS. Toma, same thing. Like, I just want to do the GC trick with him. Accelerator, I think he'll just be a fun breaker to use. I don't really need him, though, because I'm really trying to get Platina. So Accelerate, he would be a cool pickup, but I'm not too focused on getting Accelerator. I don't care that much. But both part 1 units, I'm going to try my best to get. Okay, and yeah, that's going to be it for this video. So summons in a couple days. I might do a live stream from the summons and then do a couple part 2 mines bosses. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, and yeah, that's it. See ya!